All right, so today's spiritual discipline, we're going to talk about study, a super important spiritual discipline. So one of the scriptures you can look at after this video is look at Romans 12:2 or Romans 12, where Paul talks about the transformation of our mind, right? How does that transformation of our mind happen? By focusing on God, by studying. Through study is how we get to see the character of God revealed. We get to see his promises, his will for our life, his direction, for us there. So there's a lot of Christians walking around still stuck in depression, anxiety, fear, all of these things. And a lot of times, at least from what I've seen, a lot of the times they're not really studying, right? They're not staying disciplined in their study, right? Because there are scriptures, there's God's promises, comfort for all of these things there that will transfer your mind and help to remove those things, from your life there. So another thing I see people asking for a lot and talking about is like, God, give me discernment, give me discernment. And I obviously can't limit God here, right? But in my personal opinion here is that discernment is the ability to know what's the best course of action in a situation. Discernment is also the ability to know when someone is twisting scripture intentionally or unintentionally, right? Misleading you, right? This is what discernment is, right? But where does that discernment come from, right? That discernment comes from your spiritual discipline of study, right? God, the Lord has blessed me over the last year with, countless hours of just being able to be out in the woods. Is one of my favorite things to do, to study, to stay in those theology books, to ask a lot of people questions around me and ministers at different churches and things, and really focus on these things. And I can't tell you how many times it has come to pass where I've been so thankful for that study, because I could catch where someone either was twisting scripture, didn't understand it, what scripture was kind of putting something out there that wasn't really either kosher or spot on, right? So it's very, very important there to study for yourself. Don't just be a hearer, to just sit down there and put your eternal fate and your spiritual walk just in someone else's hands, to just sit there and in a pew or somewhere and then just listen for that 1 hour out of however many hours are in a week, right? That you just get that hour and then just move on about your life. That should be like to me, in my opinion, that should be the smallest part of your spiritual study right there, is at church. It should be every other day that you're not at church as well. Church is very important as well. I'm not minimizing that. Church is definitely for worshiping God, fellowship, and to get some word. But also, I've also been in situations where you get so hungry for that word, you start noticing that you're not getting it, in some places as well. So it's just very important to stay studying the scriptures yourself. Super important. Have an awesome day.